guys. Wait for a few people to jump on. Sorry. And obviously, I got dressed today. Not. So, that's part of my tips and tricks, though. I'll probably give it like 1 minute, see if anyone hops on. I know a lot of people are doing their thing today, and we'll watch the replay eventually, so no big deal. So as some of you know, if you are direct on my team, I started doing 8-minute calls. And what I do is I do it with 3 people at a time. And last week was our first real week. So the question was, what was your goal for the week? And one of my goals, and we talked a lot about how those goals need to be measurable and specific. So my goal for myself throughout this next, phase of LuLaRoe, I feel like I go through this ebb and flow. It's never perfect. I never follow my schedule exactly, so don't feel like you have to be perfect. But this is how I keep myself on track. But my goal was to offer one targeted specific training a week for all of you guys. Just because I know how overwhelming this can be at the beginning, and you feel like there's all of these great ideas, but you don't really know how to put anything into practice. So I just want to give you a few tips and tricks on how to put your blinders on, stay focused on what you're doing, because what you're doing is different from what everyone else is doing, and that's okay. So just really quick, I will get started. If you did not get a chance to print this, I'm back up a little bit. This is a file that I put into the file section of our group, and it basically was what they used at convention. Brittany Comp, who is amazing, she does not have a YouTube channel. She's not super techy. She is from Tennessee, and she is just such a nice, lovely human. Was kind enough to share that with me. I took her class, and I wanted to share with all of you the amazing schedule, because I was like, I'm not great with Excel. I need something that's already done. So she had it. It's in the file section. You can see her schedule. You can have a blank schedule. And what I did was I used the one side for the things that I knew were upcoming, and then just try to kind of map out my time, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. And then I tried to make it a little neater on this side and color code it, and I know everything's backwards, and I'm really sorry about that. But as you can see, I've color coded all my kids' sports in blue, and my family time in light blue, all of my LuLaRoe stuff, office hours, pop-ups, all of those things are in pink. And then Mondays are my time to clean up after the weekend. I love big weekends, big family weekends. I'm with my mom and dad a lot. My in-laws are in town, or we're there, or we're at different parties, and we are busy people, and we like to stay busy. We're not real big homebodies. So the Monday is great for me because I get time to clean up and refresh myself for the week. So my first tips, I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet so that you guys can have 3 good tips, okay? So my first tip for time management is get out your family schedule, whether that be, maybe you don't have a family schedule yet. Make one. So if your kids have sports, if you have back to school nights, if you have certain things going on during the week that you want to make sure that you account for, put that on a schedule. Take that calendar and put that with your LuLaRoe calendar. Put them together, because you don't want to be crossing over and overlapping. Some people think, oh, it's okay I miss my kid's soccer game, or it's okay if I miss that first ballet recital because I'm making $20,000 a month. That for me is not okay. I don't want to miss those things, and the money for me is not worth those memories. So I want to make sure that I'm the one at back to school night, that I'm the one taking kids to soccer practice. Have I missed a baseball game? Yes. And that was because it was a reschedule. So I'm pretty good about it. I try to make every practice and every game, and I know that forever that's not going to be possible, but that's a priority for me. So on my schedule, my LuLaRoe schedule, that I take to parties, those days are off limits for pop-ups. Those times are off limits for teen time. that is strictly for my kids and my husband. So take those two calendars and combine them. Put them onto one spot. Thanks, Constance. So that you're not looking through two calendars. You're like, well, let me check my kids' calendar. Put it all together. That's my biggest trick to keep myself from going crazy, because all of you know you're going in 10 different directions within 1 hour. So your week can get crazy really quick, and there's a lot of time wasters. I'll talk about that later, but you don't want to be missing something because you're busy doing something else that's really not as important. So prioritize and make sure that your LuLaRoe schedule matches with your family schedule, and that there's time for everything. Okay, so first tip. So that was just like a little in the beginning, do your schedule. Okay, so first tip. This business works for you. You don't work for this business. I heard that at the beginning so many times, and it never really rung true until my kids started school and sports, and there were all of these things, and I got busier with running a team and helping my teammates and trying to be everything to everybody, and I was not happy. I was like, well, this is too stressful. I might as well just go back to teaching. My goal was to be home more, and I felt more crazy when I was home than I did when I was teaching. And I realized that I had to make an effort to not worry so much about this business and keep it as simple as possible. And I think a lot of people get caught up in that, and I'm sure all of you are guilty at some point, and some are more guilty than others. And I was one of those people. I was looking through everything. So there were big time wasters in my life. I was looking at my newsfeed for Facebook because I had time, and I just was sitting there doing nothing. I don't know what I was really looking for, but I don't do that anymore. And here's the biggest reason why. Because when I'm looking through all of those things, I'm not doing anything to help my family or to make me money. So I have designated times where I do that, but for the most part during the day, I do not go through my Facebook feed and just check things. Turn off your notifications for certain groups. And I hope it's not our group, but if that's something that you need to turn on and off to keep yourself sane, I give you permission. Turn off your notifications. Turn on your notifications for only the groups that you want to be notified of, so that things are not constantly dinging. Turn your phone on airplane mode. So when you're at the dinner table with your kids or your husband, when you're at soccer practice, when you're anywhere that you know that that's where your focus needs to be, put your phone on airplane mode. And that was a huge tip I learned. I didn't even know that was possible. Honestly, like, I knew what airplane mode was, but I never thought of using it for when I was home. Oh, thanks, Hannah. I love you too. So put your phone on airplane mode. Now my phone goes on airplane mode after my work hours, which are at night, because that's when I have the most amount of time. I still have a little one home with me on most days. So I put it on airplane mode when I don't want to be bothered, when I want to just have me time. And we'll talk about that in a second. But I make this business work for me, and what I do is I take my calendar with me to every pop-up, and when I'm scheduling pop-ups, and I make it a point for my hostess to get her friends to book pop-ups. And if they know who wants to host a pop-up, so if they're working for it, I don't have to feel guilty about asking. Maybe I'm a little bit uncomfortable. So I circle 3 days every single week that I'm available, and those are the days that they get to choose from, and I have set hours. I do not give them an open book for hours. If I'm traveling to them, which most of the time I am, because I kind of live out in the middle of nowhere, people don't want to drive to me. But if I'm traveling to them, I either will do 5:30 to 7, or I'll do 6:30, or 6 to 7:30, or 6:30 to 8. There's 3 different times. Most of the time I do 6 to 7:30 because that's right after work, and I do most of my pop-ups during the weekdays. And I struggled with that at the beginning. Nobody wanted to book a pop-up during the weekday. But I will say that when you schedule one and people see how successful that is, other people will follow. They're not as scared. When you go to a Saturday pop-up, people are like, oh, well, I want to do another Saturday. But then you just say, I just want to warn you, there's a lot of people, or a lot of sports, and people are busy, and they tend to follow your lead. So just be confident in yourself and know that that's something that if that's your family time on the weekends, which for me, I like my weekends. I am a brat. I don't want to give my Saturdays and Sundays up. So I try really hard to avoid them. There are some, like next Saturday I have a vendor event. And then in December we have a big team thing. So there are some days where I just have to give a little, and that's why I say this is an ebb and flow. There is no, there's not always rules and regulations. Exactly. So different areas that have big things going on. That's a very good point. So, and then at a party, so say I I have the 3 dates, and I try to fill as quickly as possible. So I try to book them, I'm trying to think of what I'm trying to say. I try not to have them book way out. So if it's October, I'll try to keep them at least within October, November schedule. I don't want to book into January yet. Just because I want to give that, leave that open for my later parties. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied here. Once I fill in those 2 pop-ups that week, I will erase the circles and I will highlight those pop-ups. So those are my 2 that week. I won't do more than 2 pop-ups out of the house. If people came to me more often, I might, but traveling 2 nights a week is too much. Also, I do Tuesday, Wednesday pop-ups. That's my time. It's back-to-back. My car is loaded. I don't have to unload and load in between my online stuff. So that's for me what works. Does that happen every week? No. Do I have 2 pop-ups every week? No. Sometimes I have 3. Sometimes I have none. If I'm going on vacation, I might try to cram it all in. So like I said, this is for most of the time, the majority of the time, these are the rules that I stick to. I do my online group Thursday nights, and haven't done that in a little bit because I've been tied up with some other stuff. But as school starts to get back in session and my son's anxiety starts to get a little better, I can focus a little bit more on that. But that for me is easy. Tuesday, Wednesday pop-ups, Thursday night for online. I invoice Friday morning. I pack and ship Friday. I shouldn't say I pack and ship. Allie packs and ships Friday afternoon. I told you I'm spoiled, which brings me to my next point. Stay tuned. So I've listed the things that are important for me to do. I have certain office hours. So when Harper goes to school and Hudson's in school, I have 2 hours, give or take, for me to sit down and do anything I need to do on the computers, upload files, plan trainings, anything that I don't have time for during the other parts of the day. Harper doesn't really nap anymore, so I can't take advantage of that time. So I have to really utilize my time that I do have. My ringtone. So this is another important part. So everyone in my phone has a ringtone. My husband has a ringtone. My mom has a ringtone. My family has a ringtone. My teammates have a ringtone. And their ringtones are based on their level. So if Hannah calls me, I know that I can maybe wait because she will know where to get that answer if it's not there. Or she'll text me and say, no pressure, call me when you get a chance. And I know if I can answer it, I'll answer it. But if it's a new teammate who I think, okay, this is probably important, either she's at a pop-up and she needs me right away, I will answer. So the ringtone kind of guides me as to whether or not this is a time-sensitive issue. So utilize that. If you are building a team and that's taking a lot of your time, think about how can I make sure that I'm using my time wisely and that I'm not having a lot of time suckers. And I don't mean to say that any of you are time suckers, but you also have to understand that all of us, even those that have a team, have a business to run. So when we are, we might be invoicing customers and doing this, and that's something that we need to focus on at that very minute. And if it's not something that's really high importance, we may just call you back or whatever it may be. So if you don't get a response right away, don't be panicked and don't think we don't love you. We will get to you. And it really, truly is part of my schedule, and I'm trying to get better at it. And sometimes I do check things sporadically and I shouldn't. So time suckers. I told you, do not scroll through your news feed. Do not sit there and go through every single notification that you get. Turn it off. Utilize the search bar on your Facebook. I'm going to show you just really quick. I know some of you know, but if you're not on your phone, because I can't show you on my phone right now, but if you are on your desktop, I'm going to show you. You guys, this little guy, let me just find it. Search this group, and you are going to put in what you are looking for, okay? If you search up here, it's going to search all of Facebook. You want to search the particular group. If you are version, you are going to hit the magnifying glass and say you want to know ideas about swag bags or hostess prep or online, whatever it is, put it in the search bar. Do not scroll through. It saves you time, and you're not reading every single notification. You don't need to know everything. It's nice when you chime in on things, and if you have time, by all means do that, but do not sit there and waste your time worrying about all of these little things, okay? That's the other thing, time sucker. Don't worry about what I'm doing. Don't worry about what Allie's doing. Don't worry about what Constance or Courtney or whoever you are. Don't worry about what these people are doing. They have amazing ideas. And you are all welcome to use ideas, to share ideas. I think it's amazing that everybody is so generous. But I think sometimes it creates this sense of panic, like I need to do this because she does that. I need to give away this because she gives away that. I need to carry this because she carries that. Don't do that to yourself. Number one, it will drive you insane. I've done it. I do it all the time. And I need to learn how to not do that because I can't do all of that. Maybe some people have a little bit more time during the day than I do. And maybe they're better at using their time. I don't know what it is, but I can't seem to get those things accomplished all day, every day. So I have to learn how to just be the best me that I can be. And if that means that I can't do a leggings basket this month or that my calendar isn't full until October, that's what that means. It means that I'm doing the very best job that I can do. And that's it. That's all you need to do. Do not make this business hard. If your customers are asking you, why haven't you invoiced them yet? Because it's not your invoicing time yet. That's what you tell them. I give you permission to tell them that this is not their business. Be kind and put it in a way that they're not going to, be mean to you. But they don't get to dictate when you invoice and when you ship. Have it very clearly identified in your pinned post or your Google Doc or whatever it is you're using, and that's it. That's all they need. They do not need you to be answering their questions at midnight. I promise you, it can wait. There is no skirt emergency, as people say, no leggings emergency. Things will be okay. When a customer panics and messages me, I try to answer them as calmly, and I say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I will look into that as soon as possible. And it just eases their mind. So if you feel like they're panicked, send them a quick message. Allie, that's a good idea. Exactly. Put that in on your calendar. I try to get up an hour before my kids. So I'm usually up by 5:30 every morning, showered and ready for the day. Sometimes that means I did shower today, but sometimes that means most of the time, let's be honest, that means my hair is up and I'm in my old college shirts and shorts and I'm comfy and that's it. And I'm invoicing in the morning, or I am watching the news, having my coffee, whatever it is that I want to do, I do that before my kids get up, before the morning rush. So and that's when I'm invoicing on Friday mornings, which may not be how you guys choose to do your Friday mornings, but that means that my Friday nights and my Saturdays and Sundays are free. Okay, that's really all for time suckers. I just want you to remember that you don't have to be doing everything, okay? Do two things good. So if you're really good in home, do it. If you're really good at doing live sales, do it. But you don't have to do every single thing. That's not what this business, it's about choices. Make it work for you. You don't work for it. And you don't work for your customers, okay? Be confident. They will buy your product if you are confident in it, okay? Outsourcing. Now, this is something that some people, oh gosh, Hannah, thank you. I need to take my own reminder sometimes, which is nice to do these trainings because it reminds me that I need to take my own advice. Outsourcing. Some of you are like, well, I don't really have the money to outsource. I will tell you, it does not cost that much money to outsource. I have a cleaning lady now. I never had a cleaning lady ever in my life. Not even growing up, I didn't have a cleaning lady. So it was huge for me. But I was spending my whole Sunday afternoons cleaning, and I didn't want to do that anymore. And so my husband did not want to do the toilet, so I hired somebody. It is more money than I probably want to pay, but it's something that's important to me. I'm a little bit of a clean freak, so that for me is okay. Now, as far as an assistant goes, I pay Allie $10 an hour. Sometimes she takes clothes, and sometimes I pay her cash. But if you don't think you can find someone, you have not looked hard enough. You need to think about high school students, college students that want clothes but don't have a lot of money, okay? They will come to shows with you. That's my next step. I want someone to come to shows with me. unloading and loading my van has become too much. Not that it's, I mean, I did it at the beginning by myself. My husband helps me load and unload it, you know, before I go and when I get home. But I want someone to do that while I'm there, okay? And I want to be with my customers. So think about how you can outsource to maximize your time at parties and to maximize your sales. That's important, okay? I want to make sure that I'm in the, you know, in the best area where people are trying things on, and I'm not worried about maybe checking people out, or vice versa. So I have two pairs of eyes all the time. See, thank you, Constance. I know I'm not crazy, and I never thought that I would do it, and then I put something out on Facebook, and Allie, who is my, ready here, follow the family tree here. It is my brother-in-law's brother's girlfriend. But I trust her completely. Sometimes she'll come in when I'm at home. I'll leave money on the counter for her. So work out whatever deal that you feel comfortable with. But for me, it is the best thing I ever did. She's much better at pictures. She's has a better eye for it. So I trust her. And she's more techie than I am. Like, she set up Dropbox. She taught me how to share photos from one phone to the other. So she literally does everything on her phone. I don't need to leave her anything. So think about it. So outsourcing is key. I hope they don't either. They've been together a long time, so we're gonna cross our fingers. She's finished nursing school in the winter, so I have a feeling that I'm gonna be looking for somebody new, and I am dreading it. If I could have her babysit my kids, I would be really a happy person. All right, the last tip is me time. So on this handy dandy schedule, and I know it sounds silly, but when I write things down, I tend to stick to it more, just like the goals. No, I know you are, it's fine. Just like goal setting, when I write them down and I can see it every day, I remind myself that I don't need to play on my computer. My office hours are from this time to this time, and I will do it tomorrow, or I'll do it in a few hours. And I had to remind myself of that today when my daughter wanted to play catch and I wanted to finish invoicing, and I had to say, this can wait, I can do this in a few hours, you know, when she has her quiet time, even though she really doesn't stay quiet anymore. But for me, my me time is my weekends. I write it down so that I stick to it. If I do, for some reason, and my kids have sports on the weekend, so my me time is like family time. If for some reason I do have a vendor event, then I just, you know, that's one day that I lost this week. It's not going to be the end of the world. I'm still going to try to stick to my schedule for the rest of the week. But take time for you, and take time for your husband and for your kids, and don't get wrapped up in this business and making it completely more than it needs to be. Deanne always says that this business was built on ignorance. Don't overcomplicate it. I know there are issues. I know that you're waiting on shipments. I know that you have parties. And I'm not here to tell you it's sunshine and rainbows, but I am here to tell you that if you let it consume you, you will be no good at anything. So take a breath, go get a manicure, go get a pedicure, do something different. Oh, Carol, what is this? Is this time management? I'm just gonna keep going, sorry. So don't let this consume you, okay? Do what works for you, and remember, don't worry about what everyone else is doing. Oh, that's right. Somebody else said they take your kids with them. My kids aren't old enough, but if your kids are old enough, let them help you. I know Michaela and Carol both use their kids. Yeah, you do need to get your nails done. Me too. I got to get everything done. But, you know, and like I said, please don't think that I am perfect and that I do these things all the time and I have it all figured out, because I don't. I promise you I don't. Like I said, I have highs and I have lows, and I have good weeks and I have, you know, not bad weeks, but I have less than good weeks that, you know, I could do a better job with this. But I hope that helped. And if you have questions, oh, cool, Carol. No, that's awesome. I'm going to read that when I'm done. If you have questions, or you have, you know, like Carol had a suggestion about an article, if you have something to share, please do. And you can watch the replay. So I'm glad that you guys joined in. It does, for sure. Nails and like makeup. Obviously that didn't happen for me today. But anyhow, you know, do what works for you and be confident, and don't overcomplicate it. So I love you all. Have a great weekend. I hope that was helpful. And, let me know how I can help and how, and maybe you have a tip or trick that you want to share with us. So I will talk to you all soon. Bye.